John.
Well, as Gary warned, we are now joined from City Hall by the Mayor for London, Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson, if I was talking to you not as the Mayor, but as the journalist that you are, I think you would detect a stench, a whiff, the possibility of political intrigue here, where your island has been shoehorned into the back end of this thing. It's not on the shortlist, and let's face it, it's unlikely to be.
I'll take whatever status we've got. I think it's very good news that it hasn't been ruled out, and it gives us a huge opportunity now in the next 6 months or so to make the case for the solution in the Thames estuary, which, by the way, is far, far better than anything that is currently being offered by the Davies Commission. And I think it is, I heard what Zach had to say. I think he's absolutely right about the horror that will be aroused by the idea of a new runway at Heathrow. To build this runway, you have to construct a kind of pontoon over the M25. You've got to spend about the thick end of tens of billions on transport infrastructure alone, just for the Heathrow options. And then there's the huge noise impacts. No other city in the world would do this to its inhabitants, and no other mayor would tolerate it. So, and the other problem really with Heathrow is it is just not going to happen. David Cameron and the government were right first time. They were right to rule it out. The difficulties, the legal difficulties, will be absolutely insurmountable. This thing will go on to the crack of doom.
Nevertheless,
we will be pushing Zimmer frames around before there is a third runway.
Mr. Mayor, I must stop this because we need to have a discussion, and the discussion seems to centre on whether this commission, which was appointed by the government, has the freedom to come up with the solution it independently arrives at. And if it comes up with a solution for Heathrow, the question is, how far will you fight? I mean, is it worth the rest of your political career to put your commitment behind saving the people of West London if the situation is so severe? I mean, would you run for the leadership of the Tory party to ensure that it led to this position?
Well, that's not remotely related subject. What I'm
how
trying
big
to
a
do
principle
is
is it?
Defend
how big a principle is it?
The pledge I made in 2008, again in 2012, indeed the pledge that the government made in 2010 when they were all elected, and to get a bit of common sense back into this debate and just get everybody to recognise that a third runway at Heathrow is not only a disaster, but it's also not going to happen. We need to focus on what I think is a much more pragmatic
But let's just
solution.
distill this.
And I'm delighted that Howard Davies has kept it in the frame. What we want to do now is advance some of the argument, show how the costs, I think he's exaggerating
but
those,
now that this has happened,
that the environmental impacts in the east of London are negligible.
We need to know, therefore, do you stand by whatever decision the Commission reaches? So if they reach a Commission which says, yeah, let's go for your island, fine. But if they say we go to Heathrow, do you accept that is the decision?
No, this is not the law of the Medes and the Persians. This is, I'm here to represent my constituents. I'm here to represent the electorate that returned me twice on a very explicit manifesto. I'm not here to
and therefore, if David Cameron,
so that's what I will continue to do. But I want to be there is a very positive argument that we are making, and that is that there is a much better alternative, and we've got the chance now to get the message across, particularly about the economic benefits.
Yeah, which you've stressed already. So let's be very specific here. If David Cameron decides to stand by the decision of the Commission that he has appointed and therefore has to live with a Heathrow solution, will he have betrayed you?
Well, I certainly think it would be the wrong decision, and I will. He knows my views on this, and there's no sort of big issue about this. Everybody understands that it's my strong view. This would be the wrong thing for the city and for the country, and I will continue to make that point. And I have every confidence that we have very, very powerful arguments on our side.
All right, well then, may I put something to you?
And I think that's what people want to hear.
Let me put a specific to you. Howard Davies said on this programme, I don't know how Boris Johnson has such certainty about his position. He does not think that your central premise, that you need a great hub airport in the form that you've designed it, is needed. What he talks about is the vast expansion in short-haul regional flying. And that is what is actually happening, and that is what his figures prove.
Well, actually, I don't think that is the case at all, and that's very interesting and important, and that is the substance of the debate. Because if you look at what's happening around the world, everywhere else, including our main European rivals, but particularly obviously in the Middle East, in Dubai, in India, in China, they are going for large hub airports. And the advantage of a hub, John, is that you can get a much greater concentration of inbound travellers that you can then fire off to a multiplicity of routes. So you build up connectivity to a wide range of destinations. And that is where Britain at the moment is losing out. We're losing out to Frankfurt, to Schiphol, to France, all of which have now got many more routes out to China, to Latin America, the growth markets of tomorrow, alas, than we have.
We could paint the world across with runways, but alas, we haven't got the programme to do it. But thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.